No rest for Blackburn Rovers as they return to championship action, but what would make our season go from bad to utter garbage? Well, I'll tell you, it's a defeat to Paul Cook and his lads from Wigan. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time looking forward to Blackburn Rovers' next match up against Wigan at Ewood Park, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang out today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, whoa, football related, we've got it all here under one roof. Now let's jump into the thick of things and take a look at the match in a bit more detail. It does take place at Ewood Park this Tuesday, which is the 12th of March 2019, and Wigan are still managed by what a character he is, what a lovely gentleman, and I am being sarcastic. It is Paul Cook. We need to get one over of him, boys, because he is a very, very smarmy little man. Does my head in. And, you know, there's always one person out there, whether it's in League One or the Championship, that you just have a little bit of a not nasty spot, but, you know, just, I don't know, just a little bit of a irk. And this man irks me a lot. So if down the road that Mowbray decides to move on to pastures new, whether it's to go back home to the northeast or whatever, and we are in the look for a manager, do not touch this man with a barge pole, please. Anyhow, last season, Wigan finished first in League One. Yep, we hear about that all the flipping time. Now, the key man for me, from a Wigan point of view, for this week, is not Nick Powell, it's Sam Morsey. That's right, I think he's El Capitano over at Wigan, and he is obviously an Egypt international key player, and he does wind me up as well. He's got one of them attitudes, and again, last time that these two met at Ewood Park ended up as a 2-2 draw. That was back on the 4th of March 2017. Now, over the years, we played each other 27 times, I believe, including 14 wins, 6 draws, and 7 defeats, including that one at the DW. Anyway, let's take a look at the starting 11s, who I think, anyway, before we do that, take a quick look at any suspensions, any injuries. And we've been blighted, folks. Our defence has been, especially our central defence, has been ripped apart. Anyway, no recognised suspensions, but Mulgrew, Rodwell and Darrell Lenihan, our 3 centre-backs. Yes, that's right. All 3 of them, or all the 3 players considered centre-backs, look like they're going to be out for this game. So it's going to make some interesting team selection for Mowbray. Gladwin's also out, and Dominic Samuel is also out. Anyway, this is my starting 11. Here we go. Raya in goal with a 3-man defence. Yep. Bell, Williams and Nyambe. Yep, we're going to concede some goals, boys and girls. I've opted for Conway on the left-hand side, Evans, Travis and Reed on the right-hand side. No place for Bennett for me. I had a bit of a selection dilemma. I wanted to get Rothwell in there. So either we would play 2 supporting 1 man up front, and that 1 man would be Armstrong, or this one, which I've gone for here, Dak, Armstrong and Graham. So that is my hopeful starting 11. We'll see. I think Mowbray's got his own ideas, but just in case you're watching, Gaffer, that's what I'd go for. Quick look at the stats now for Rovers. No goals last time out. Obviously, Preston, we're not going to talk about it too much, but anyway, we did lose, no goals. Dak has 14, Graham has 12, Mulgrew has 10, and Armstrong has 8. As for the discipline, Smallwood has 8 yellows, Lenihan has 8, Evans has 7, and Bennett has 6. As for the Reds, Williams does have 2 reds. Yep. Concerning Smallwood has 1 red card also. Quick look at the last 5 results for Rovers. They look like this. Obviously, last time out. It's actually very, very hard reading for you boys and girls. 1 draw out of the past 5 games here. So we lost to Preston last time out. I was on Saturday. Before that, we lost to Rotherham at Rotherham, the New York Stadium, 2nd of March, 3-2. Before that, we drew away St Andrews 2-2 against Birmingham, 23rd of Feb. That seems like a win now. Before that, on the 17th of Feb, we lost to Middlesbrough at Ewood Park, and all the way back 13th of Feb, just before Valentine's Day, we lost to Reading at the Bajayski. The next 5 fixtures look like this. I think it gets a lot worse for Rovers. Next up, obviously, Wigan. Then we take on Sheffield Wednesday on the weekend at Hillsborough, a revamped Steve Bruce and co. Then it's Aston Villa at Villa Park, who, I don't know, are they still in the playoff hunt? I don't know. That's going to be a difficult one, 30th of March. Then we take on Stoke City back at Ewood Park on the 6th of April. And then we take on Derby County at Ewood Park. How about Wigan? Well, they've got no registered suspensions as well, but they've got 1 injury, and that is Daniel Fox. He is out. for a while. Anyway, take a look at my expected Wigan lineup. Jones in goal. Robinson, Olsen, Dunkley and Byrne. The back four, Jacobs, Morsey, Powell, James, Massey. Your five-man midfield with Garner up top. And why is Garner up top? Because he is the current goal scorer with 6 goals to his name. Powell has 5. Windass has 5. Good player to have off the bench. And Jacobs has 3. As for discipline, Morsey has 13 yellows. That's why he's my key man. Garner has 6 yellows. Windass has 6. Kipre has 6. As for your Reds, 3 red cards this season. Gibson, Morsey and Naismith all have red cards. To your name, last 5 fixtures or last 5 results for Wigan. It's not been great either. They've not won in 5, but they've got a couple of draws in there. Last time out, they did lose lastminute.com against Reading at the Majeski. That was on Saturday, 9th of March, 3-2. They did lose to Derby, lastminute.com as well, 5th of March, 2-1 to Derby. Before that, they drew with Middlesbrough 0-0. At the DW. Before that, they drew with Ipswich at the DW. That was on 23rd of March. And they drew with Stoke City at the DW. And that was on the 13th of Feb. Anyway, the next 5 fixtures for Wigan look like this. Rovers, obviously, this week. Then they take on Bolton. Crunch Clash at the bottom of the table, 16th of March. Before switching gears, and that's at the DW. They're switching gears to take on Brentford, who are flying. That's on the 30th of March. There's Bristol City away. Ooh, some difficult fixtures here for Wigan. 6th of April, and then they take on Hull City away at the 10th of April. Now, let's take a look at the form books in a little bit of detail here. These are the last 5 home games for Rovers, the last 5 away games for Wigan. Now, Wigan's away form has been classed as horrific. Absolutely. We'll take a look at why that's horrific in just one second. But yeah, the last 5 fixtures for Rovers at home, it's not great. 3 1-0 losses. So get 1 goal, sit back. Points are yours. But before those, or way back when, we did beat Hull 3-0, we did beat Ipswich 2-0, and we did hold Premier League Newcastle 2-2 before losing penalties in the FA Cup. No penalties, extra time. How about Wigan's last 6 away games look like this? So, there's 5 defeats amongst that, 1 draw, and that draw was against Rotherham all the way back the 9th of Feb. Now, let's take a look at the form table. This is the last 6 games in all, both home and away. Rovers are, yes, indeed, still rock bottom. It doesn't get much better, but a win, and we could be up and running and leapfrog Wigan, push them towards the bottom of this form table. But we look absolutely dog shite at the moment. Whereas Preston on the other side are 3rd now. Nottingham Forest turned a massive corner as well after a change of manager. Reading also up into 7th after a change of manager as well. Maybe, just maybe, there's some proof to that pudding. Anyway, let's take a look at the home form now. This is the last 6 games at home. Rovers slap dab in the middle of the table, 13th spot, but they've lost 3 and won 3 of the last 6 at home. As for Wigan, this is the last 6 away games. Now, Wigan are not bottom of the away form table. They are close to the bottom. They're 21st in the table. Drawn 2 out of the last 6 away games. So it's looking like an uphill struggle. Now, what have I got here? Now, this table here is this is all 18 games played at home, and I'll show you the 18 games played away. So when you look at Rovers on the grand scheme of things, if they were just looking at home form, we would be 16th in the table. And that's all we're focusing on here. It's just Blackburn where they are 16th on the grand scheme of things. Whereas on the away form, Wigan are rock bottom of the total amount of games. They're actually rock bottom by, when I say rock bottom, just the point. Ipswich, Rotherham are just above them. But they've only won 1, drawn 3, and they've lost all 14 games away from the DW. Anyway, let's take a look at the last, 6 games between the two sides in all competitions. Obviously, they did spank us. It's one of those. It was the start of a rotten run. 3-1 loss to Wigan at the DW. Before that, though, you have to go back to the 4th of March 2017 for Wigan's last defeat against Blackburn Rovers, and we did trade 3-0 losses a couple of games back. Anyway, a little bit more detail. This is the last 6 games between Blackburn Rovers and Wigan at Ewood Park, and you've got to go all the way back to 2012 for Wigan's last victory at Ewood Park, but they did last time out have a draw, 2-2 draw. It was a good game, it was entertaining, but unfortunately I think we threw a game away. A quick look here at our strengths and weaknesses for both Wigan and Blackburn Rovers. Just pause the screen here, pause the video, take a look at that in a bit more detail. Shooting from free kicks is our strong point. Our main weakness is keeping possession of the ball and defending against attacks. Down the flipping wings. Down the flipping wings. I've seen it more often than I should do. Stop letting goals in. The guy breaks down the side, whips a pretty simple ball in, and it gets tapped home. It happened on the weekend. Please, let's kind of sort that crap out, boys. And Wigan's strengths, shooting from direct free kicks as well. And their weakness is defending set pieces. So I think if Mulgrew's out, that's a huge loss for us. What else is going on this week in the old championship? Well, obviously the main game is at Ewood. Rovers against Wigan. It is a slam-packed schedule over Tuesday and Wednesday. Bristol take on Ipswich. That's sort of top-ish for us. There's a bottom-ish game. Sheffield United against Brentford. That's a meaty one right there. Brentford are flying high at the moment in 13th spot, but red-hot form. Reading up against Leeds. Reading have turned a corner. Can they upset the apple cart against Leeds? Middlesbrough take on Preston, and again, Preston have turned a massive corner. Win this, Preston, and you're going to be in the mix for playoffs, I reckon. QPR against Rotherham towards the foot of the table. Can Rotherham get themselves up and over that little hump down there? There's a cluster of teams stuck in it. I think from Reading down is in serious bother. Hopefully we can't get sucked into that. Norwich gets Hull. Hull have kind of hit a blip at the minute, but Norwich continue to do what they do. Bolton, they picked up a massive victory on the weekend. They need a couple more if they're going to get themselves out of the thick of things. They up against Sheffield Wednesday, Steve Bruce, Sheffield Wednesday. Not Forest against Villa, that's going to be fruity. Birmingham against Millwall. Millwall they've got FA Cup distractions coming up on the weekend as well. Derby against Stoke. And West Brom against Swansea. So some meaty games in there that could upset the ups and downs in the old championship table. Quick look at that championship table. Norwich still are top of the pops with 72 points. Leeds are in second, 70. Sheffield United, West Brom, Middlesbrough and Derby occupy the top. The four playoff spots. As for the bottom, Ipswich, Bolton and Rotherham are in the drop zone. But a win for Rotherham this weekend and a defeat. Wigan could end up get sucked back into that thick mess if they fail to get a point this weekend. As Rovers, we're in 17th. We're free falling though, but a win we could get us as high as possibly 15th in the table. Depends on what else goes on this weekend. Now we looked at the stats of each of the teams, Wigan and Rovers, but this is the cream of the crop. Timo Pukki is the main man with 24 goals this season. Billy Sharp is hot on his heels with 22 goals. Tammy Abraham has 21. So does Che Adams, and there's a whole host of other players in there with around about quite a few goals in there. As for the assists, Benrahma has 11 assists, so does Hernandez, so does Lukas Czekowicz from Birmingham, and Jota has 9, Conor Hoonahans has 9. But one stat that sticks out here, it is a Wigan player, it is Sam Morsey and his aggression. What a naughty little boy he is. Ben Pearson was also in that calibre. He was not available for the game against Rovers. Anyway, now I did not have time to find a Wigan supporter to come in and talk to us about the game, but there are some vocal Rovers fans out on the forum, the brfcs.com forum. If you want to check it out, I'll whack a link in the old description. But here we go for it, folks. Big Dog Steel said this about the Wigan game: Wigan are going to be up for this fight. Will we? I can see us getting a stupid red early on. See, we have no controlled aggression without Lennon, just lads who do bad tackles. That's if they're prepared to tackle at all. We are a soft touch, could easily lose this. 2-0. Meanwhile, Tom Field said this: good thing from Saturday was there was no panic after going a goal down early on, and heads haven't dropped yet. So they should be up for this. We need a bit of luck from somewhere, and it might come in the form of a late penalty after a customary poor goal conceded. He's gone for Rovers 1, Wigan 1. Meanwhile, Arbitro said this: I saw Wigan unlucky lose to Derby last week, but what struck me was how big the majority of their players look. They are known to be physical, so we need to fight fire with fire. No more Mr. Nice Guys, please. That was evident in the game against Preston. A couple of little injuries, or fake injuries, I guess. And Rovers just were the soft touch and put the ball out. Davul Suka said this: last chance saloon as far as I'm concerned with Mowbray. He's absolutely wrecked this season with some awful planning in the summer and January. He can't magic a centre-back from nowhere, but that's his fault. He needs to get what he's got playing to the best, and they've all been some way off that for some time now. Says a lot in the media, is yet to back it up on game day. So Simon Garner's 194 said this: quite simply a massive game for everyone. Anything other than Rovers coming out all guns blazing from kickoff is simply not acceptable. We are approaching the point of no return, Tony lad. 2-1, 12,800 fans in attendance. AAK said this: same shit, unfit, unorganised, uninterested players, out of position, favourites playing. It's so glaringly obvious Mowbray isn't a good manager in this league over a full season. However, he will be here for as long as he wants. Let's see how honest he really is. He said he would go if it wasn't working, as is an honest man. He won't be like all the others under Venky's, laughing their tits off at taking wage for doing a shite job. Until Venky's go, nothing changes. And Danger1980 said this goes without saying, biggest game of the season, this win, and we're probably safe lose, and we're in trouble, in real trouble, and the crowd may turn. Draw would be rubbish, but would at least keep Wigan at bay. They've got a little bit what I would say about the match, and that was some of the fans, but yeah, well, we're going to change gears now and tell you some of the players that have played for both Blackburn Rovers and Wigan Athletic. There's a whole list of them on the old website. Check it out. How about this guy? Was a bit of a failure. That's a bit of a harsh word there, but didn't work out for Rovers, and he probably didn't work out for Wigan as well. Was it Jack Byrne, or words to that effect? Bernie boy. I think he's now playing over in Ireland with Shamrock Rovers last time I checked, but he was on Manchester City's books. Tipped to be a big thing, but ultimately it didn't work out. Now, how about this guy? Ryan Tunnicliffe. Yeah, I had to pause for a minute because I completely forgot who he was. Again, he was on loan, I think, during the Gary Bowyer years. But he was also on the books at Wigan. Not too sure on his stats then. I'm not sure if it's before or after Rovers. I think it's after. But yes, so a couple of little midfield players that couldn't really hit the grade. But we'll wrap it up with this guy. Well, I think his best footballing years were in a blue and white shirt. And I'm not talking Wigan, boys. I'm talking Rovers. Got into the England scene as a Rovers left back. He did play for a lot of clubs towards the back end of his career, including our visitors this midweek, and that is Wigan. Like I said, if you want to check out a full list of all the players that play for both Blackburn Rovers and Wigan, why don't you head over to my WordPress site, details for that sucker in the description below. Now you've heard what I've had to say about the match, and you've heard a little bit what the old fans have had to say. Now what you really want to hear is what Caster Cat's got up her sleeve. She's been on an absolute shocking run, I think, because of her. She's actually quite tired. She did the Asian Cup quite recently, quite a lot of coverage and all that kind of good stuff. So now, switching back to domestic football in the Championship, she's kind of digging her claws in a little bit, but hopefully she can get back to the right predictions with this one. That's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a good old thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button. Keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all here under one roof. And while I still have you, make sure you check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there, Twitter and Facebook. And before you bounce, let me hear what you think will happen this midweek up against Wigan. Will we get our first victory in an absolute donkey's age, or will it be another defeat? And will we get sucked into a unrequested relegation dogfight? Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Lots of things to do, lots to talk about until I see you again in this, guys. It will be a detailed or an instant match review shortly after the final whistle on Tuesday. Until then, thumbs up, subscribe. Ciao for now. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.